Welcome to HortTube. My name is Jim Putnam. In this video, I'm going to tour a very small lot in Fairhope, Alabama. I'm down here doing some video work along the Gulf Coast, and I've talked to a landscape architect in the area who has done a lot of design in this area right here around the Gulf in South Alabama, and he turned me on to this landscape right here, which he had done. I'll link Joe's information in the bottom of this video. I'm actually heading over to his office after this and showing you the landscape around his office, which I really like as well. They're very, very different. These two things I'm going to show you down here in Fairhope, and I hope that's what you get out of these videos. As I'm finding interesting landscapes to tour, is that I'm not really promoting one over another or any ideas over others. I'm trying to find things that are unique and different, and some will use lots and lots of pieces and be super, super detailed. When we go over to Joe's office, you'll see that video shortly after I put this one up. It's using like 8 varieties and picking and going hard with like 8 different pieces. So that will be super, super interesting. But I think you're really gonna like this one. This one has a tropical paradise in the backyard. We're gonna start in the front. So I'll start out here by the street. This is a house that's probably about the size of mine. It's got a really nice screen porch on the front yard, which I'm sure is very desirable here in South Alabama. In the summertime, there's a Natchez crepe myrtle right here, the white flowering crepe myrtle, and then there's a very large southern magnolia that kind of comes right over top of the house. This house has no turf. It's got some liriope spicata as turf out by the road and in a couple other places in the yard. Liriope spicata is a spreading one. The concrete out here stops it, and then there's some steel edging that runs around these beds to keep it in place. I'm sure it still runs away occasionally. It's definitely can be pretty aggressive spreading, but there's almost no maintenance. It'll stay green like this year round, no fertilizer, mow it, once a year in the late winter. I'm sure is the appeal of this. This right here is a crocosmia right here blooming with the orange flower. There's several sages and salvias out here to draw in the pollinators there and there. That looks like maybe black and blue. There's lots of agapanthus out here. There's a whitish purple one there, solid purples, just lots of them. There's a blueberry right here in the middle of the bed I'm just seeing. And over on that side are some variegated pittosporum, dwarf pittosporum, that's possibly Mojo, which I've shown on the channel before. There's a few other varieties as well of these dwarf variegated pittosporum. I'll slide over this way. There's some low-growing ground cover roses in this spot right here. Some more salvia sticking out right over the top of it. There's a gardenia here, and I think this one's very off-colored, and I think that as you get down toward these sandy soils right on the Gulf of Mexico is literally at the end of the road right there. I would imagine that these soils are maybe a little iron deficient from the amount of rain that they get coming in off the Gulf. I'm going to slide around this way. You can see this liriope spicata continues around here. These brick pathways are just beautiful. The landscape architect did a great job designing, these various paths through here. Right here on the front of the house are some windmill palms. These are small compared to the ones that are in the back. There's some that are quite tall back there. There's a Japanese maple here, and I don't know how happy Japanese maple is right down here on the Gulf. It's actually got some lichen growing on it, but it's doing okay. It's a nice focal point up here by the door. There's some irises and just miscellaneous containers planted up here that look great in front of this screen porch. Coming around this way, there's some prostrate plum yews, which I've shown many times on the channel. These are just great for covering ground in a shady space. Another windmill palm. Anything that you plant under a crepe myrtle has the potential to end up with sooty mold. That's what that black is on those leaves. You get aphids on the crepe myrtle that's above it, and then they secrete a liquid that is sticky and sweet, and it forms a little fungus or a mold on it called sooty mold. But that's what that is. Swing you back around here slowly. These are swamp daisies right here. These won't bloom until fall. That's a great plant for showing some color in the very, very late summer. Here's another agapanthus right here. And then there's some cleome right here. I don't think I've ever shown cleome on the channel at all. I was up at Monticello last year, and around Jefferson's house, there's a big planting of these. Up there, of course, they bloom much later. Up in Charlottesville, Virginia, they don't bloom until middle summer. Down here on the Gulf, they've been blooming for a while at this point. But I'll back out of here. You can see this driveway is pea gravel, and it's contained by this brick edging. There's a Camellia japonica right here. That's going to be a winter flowering camellia. And then this is a ajuga right here, and the ajuga is also over here on this side. Really dark foliage variety, and then there's some dwarf mondo grass inside of all of these what amount to stepping stones that were created out of this brick. So I'll lead you down this side now. We'll start here. This is a Camellia sasanqua. I wouldn't know what variety it is. This is going to be a fall blooming camellia. Of course, these are all hydrangea macrophyllus here. There's a oak leaf hydrangea. That one's actually a native. This is a Dahoon holly, which is a native holly right here. It may be in too much shade is the reason it's a little thin, but that's usually a good variety to grow in the southeast. More hydrangea macrophylla right there. Swinging over to this side, there's some cast iron plants here. In the late winter, early spring, some of this tattered foliage can be cut down and cut back, and then the new pieces will replace it. Let's see, there's a Nandina domestica that's like, I don't know, 9 feet tall right here, and its berries are forming on it. And a few other Nandinas over here. They look like these are firepower Nandinas. These are the ones that turn red in the winter time. We'll slide on. This is some azaleas right here, quite possibly Formosa azalea. It's got the large leaves like that. This is a Confederate jasmine right here, growing on this entry into the backyard, and I had already opened the gate, so we'll slide on in here, and I'll close this. Behind me. Right here has a screen on this side where you have the fence, but these bright and tight cherry laurels were planted along the side, and I don't think I've ever shown any cherry laurels on the channel. Let me see if I can show you the foliage on these. I just saw a ton of these at my garden center. It's just a great upright shrub. It's actually another one that's native to the southeast. And this variety is called Bright and Tight. There's a mandevilla that's been planted here to grow on this screen. And these are big blue liriope. This is a clumping liriope right here. What we saw out at the road was Liriope spicata, which is a spreading liriope. And like I say, this one's a clumping liriope. You typically would cut these down in like March and get all new growth on them. But you can see these cherry laurels continue into here. I hope the light's not playing too many tricks here. This is a variegated ginger in this area right here. It's quite beautiful. Big giant elephant ear growing up out of the middle of it. There's seeding here and there throughout this landscape, but this is a variegated ginger. You can see lots of different colors in these leaves, and everything back here is has a tropical look and feel to it. You can see that. Okay, all right. Right here, maybe a little dark. This is a teddy bear magnolia. I've covered this one on the channel. You can see the really nice brown backs on the leaves on teddy bear. Teddy bear's super upright and narrow. This is a windmill palm here. That's you can see the trunk on it, how big this one actually is. This right here is a live oak. Small for now. these can get quite big in time, but that's a live oak. Kind of synonymous with the southeast, really. More of the liriope, and then repeating the hydrangea macrophyllus here, and that windmill palm bloomed up there. That's where the flowers were. There's another one of those teddy bear magnolias planted back there. More of the ginger right in here, and then back here there's some. That's a soft caress mahonia, another Confederate jasmine growing here on this back wall. And these are all, let me let the camera focus for a second. These are all soft caress mahonia. Looks like they've just finished flowering, really. They had the yellow flowers on them. Bees really like. This is a tree-formed sasanqua, Camellia sasanqua right here. Has a fountain underneath it. I'll show you in just a second. And there's various ferns under here. I believe people call this one a sword fern. This one kind of upright, spreads quite a bit. As you can see, it comes up wherever it kind of wants to come up. Nice fountain under the camellia right here. It's great at covering up any other noises. There's baskets hanging from this structure here. That's a sweet potato vine growing in that. This is a Fat's Hedra, which I've shown several times on the channel. I have one of these at the house. I haven't actually planted it yet. Another Confederate jasmine here that just getting started. I'm gonna move over here into the shade. I know the shade is gonna, the sun and shade back here in this little tropical garden is gonna mess with what you guys can see. I'm gonna give the camera a chance to focus. Big giant windmill palms back here, blocking, used as a screen, and there's some cherry laurels planted in here as well. They're a little thinner over here because they're not getting as much light. But between the cherry laurels and the big windmill palms, they are doing a good job of making this a private area. There's some, of course, a big giant elephant ear growing in here as well. And then a fern basket right there. There's lights hanging from this structure, and more Confederate jasmine. Some of it's still blooming. I can smell it right now. There's a, let's see if we can get an angle where we can actually see this pot. Good gracious. Okay, there's a begonia in that container. All right, when I slide out of here, there's some petunias in that container, and some ferns in the pots right there. And I'll back out. You can see more sweet potato vines. And then up here, we're looking at that Confederate jasmine. This one's actually in bloom right now. Looking great. Another sweet potato vine and some other various annuals. There's another soft caress mahonia right there. If I swing you around to right here and let the camera catch up for a second, there's a prostrate rosemary right there. Just a ground cover rosemary. And sliding over this way, we've got some autumn ferns, and let's see, any place in between these stepping stone pads, these brick pads that were created, is dwarf mondo grass, kind of tying all that together. Looks like some basil planted there, and there was some kale maybe right there, and then there's an upright rosemary in that container. And then sliding around here back to the big blue liriope, clumping liriope. Everything's kind of carried through this landscape to make it cohesive. Right here is a container with that's a purple fountain grass, but it's not quite getting enough sun to keep it solid purple. As you can see, there's a little bit of green in there. Then there's some white verbena and some white petunias in there. It looks like some mint creeping around here, which you have to be super careful with. It can take over a bed in a hurry.